皆さん、
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sun. You just saw the opening video. It's a lot of fun. It's thrilling. The age that we live in today is an age of transformation. Literally. Human beings experienced the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution totally transformed people's lives from the roots. But the information revolution that we face today will most likely bring about new transformations that were never imagined before. It will bring us to levels of novelty that we have never experienced before. So we just happen to be born in this age of transformation. We have the opportunity to challenge these new things. And I think we're very, very blessed and lucky. When I was a student, I had this distant dream of becoming an entrepreneur. And back then I thought, well, Konosuke Matsushita, he's really a happy, blessed man. Mr. Honda, Mr. Morita, they were born in such good times. They were lucky, I thought. If I were born back then, I would probably have rubbed shoulders with these giants. And I would probably have become a challenger in new fields such as electronics and automotives. So I thought they were lucky. I really envied them for the times and age that they were born in. And this was back in my student days. But now looking back, I think I'm the lucky one because I was born in a better era, even better era than those giants. So we are born in a blessed era. We can challenge the unknown. And I think we are truly blessed and truly lucky for this opportunity. SoftBank World is now in its 6th year. And back when we started, I used to ask questions like, are you using the iPhone? Are you using the iPad? And people who don't own both should stop, being human beings. I said I was very extreme. And, Japanese samurai could be called a samurai if they owned 2 swords, a long sword and a short sword. But now there's no need to even question people about their ownership because in the past 6 and 7 years, the world has changed forever. But we are going to witness even more tremendous changes and transformations going forward. So I'm so excited. I mean, I don't even want to go to sleep. Every morning I wake up and I think, oh, where am I? When I get out of bed, I'm lost. I don't know if I'm waking up in the United States or in India. I don't know where I am. Maybe Saudi Arabia. So recently, when I wake up, I don't know where I am because I'm jumping all around the world. But I really, really don't want to go to sleep because I don't want to waste the time. So we're living in a very thrilling and exciting times. Now, I talked about the Industrial Revolution. It started in the 18th century from the UK. And during the Industrial Revolution, at the backdrop was a social class called the gentry. The gentry, I'm sure you know about them. This is the word that became the root for the word gentleman. That is from the royalty. They were knights, former knights, who were given special privileges. And since already the age of wars was over, the king provided these former knights as privileged people with land as assets. And these gentlemen or gentry operated and managed the land and the privileges that they were provided to lead a very affluent life. But they not only generated money, they strongly held this feeling of noblesse oblige, that is, that they had to contribute to society. So they built infrastructure, they built ships and roads, etc. They made a lot of investment into these infrastructure through the financial markets. And their funds and their assets developed, became the source of funds for the Industrial Revolution. So they financed the Industrial Revolution and the growth of new industries, new discoveries and technology and capital, that is risk-seeking capital. Risk-seeking capital and technology overlapped and were combined together, merged together to trigger what we call the Industrial Revolution. It started with the steam engine, then came the automatic loom and the steam locomotive, and that led to the automobile, Edison, etc. So new technologies combined with capital developed a huge revolution. The Industrial Revolution totally changed people's lives. But the Industrial Revolution was actually an extension of the human physical capability, the ability to run faster, the ability to pick up heavier things. So the Industrial Revolution was the extension of the 5 human capabilities or the power, but the information revolution is an extension not only of the physical capability, but of our intelligence, of the brain cells in a sense. So for human beings, rather than our arms and legs, which are our muscles, I think our brains are more important probably than our limbs. And I think that the information revolution, which is an extension of our intelligence, of human intelligence, will bring about transformations like we've never seen before. So SoftBank Group want to combine this state-of-the-art technology with risk money, that is capital, in order to bring about and promote huge transformations. At the center of the information revolution used to be PCs. PCs started off as huge computers, but then due to microprocessors, they were made compact into PCs, and then they were linked together to create the internet. And not only PCs and smartphones, but microprocessors were embedded into all things, bringing about the age of IoT. And that could promote not only memory and calculation capabilities, but also will extend our intelligence. So not only knowledge and the ability to calculate, but it can extend our knowledge and intelligence. That is AI. Probably create beings which are more intelligent than human beings. As a result, and perhaps in Go and Shogi and chess, human beings are beaten by AI. So rather than human players playing each other, it's a battle between computers. And so human beings should probably give up trying to beat AI and computers, because AI is overwhelmingly stronger. So programs developed by human beings for ego and chess, etc., now beat human beings. And so this deep learning capability of AI is now expanding into art and healthcare. For example, robots, industrial robots, which used to do manual labor or simple labor, are now more intelligent, and they have picked up human languages, and they're able to translate instantaneously a human language into several other languages. Also, of course, in Japan, this is not realized because of various regulations, but in other countries around the world, Uber and Digda, these kinds of companies have evolved their technologies so that even congestion can be mitigated through AI. In Japan, when you call taxis, these taxi drivers will receive these wireless messages saying, okay, taxi number 12 or so, please go to such and such location. So the taxis will only come after you call them.
But Didi in China or the Uber in the US, even before you make a phone calls, they actually make a prediction and learn from AI and making heat maps. So even before you make a phone calls to the taxi driver, they are already around yourselves, depending on the day of the week, or maybe depending on the weather or season, or maybe some events around the neighborhood. I think all of those are trained and using the capability of AI even before making a phone call to the cab company or before taking some actions, they come to you based upon their prediction. So that AI is going to be trained with data. Data, I think in the industry so far is maybe all the resources like iron or oil or steel. Well, those are the resources which are required for the industrial revolution. The most important asset for the information revolution is data. Whoever gets the most data wins. We have to go through the analytics and train the AI, and that's something which we are all facing. Our group, SoftBank, is now acquired ARM. Simon, CEO of ARM, is going to come up on stage later to make his presentation. ARM has over 90% share in IoT arena. In smartphones, I'm sure that all of you here, almost 100% have smartphones in your pockets, I think. And all over the world, 99% of all the smartphones on the globe is configured with ARM's chip. So 99%. I think there have been a lot of important industries. In any industry, important industry, one company is any company owning 99% of all the devices on the globe? I don't think so. So 99% market share is now owned by ARM, and now they are not just looking at smartphones. Of course, they have the other devices like modem or other memory devices and home appliances, and everything of IoT will have ARM. Also, they have to be connected. Well, our smartphones, or maybe through the wired communication, we are usually connected, but there are certain locations which still do not have the connection. Well, we have to cover the entire globe. We are going in communication revolution at the optical fiber speed and LTE latency. And all over the globe, going through the optical fiber, maybe 1 billion lines will be connected. That technology, we are now trying to prepare that world, and that is something which is prepared by OneWeb, which is now a group company. So it's not just broadband, but from the satellite to cover the entire Earth globe. And that's something which we are considering. So from now onward, ARM's IoT and OneWeb's communication to cover the entire world, and 1 trillion IoT devices will be connected. With that, not just connecting to people, but connecting to the objects, things. So 1 trillion objects or things will be communicating. SoftBank are competing against the other competitors regarding the number of the human beings' connections. If we just think about the people's connection, maybe only 7 billion connections. So all over the countries and all the market share, if we gain all of them, it's still 7 billion, only 7 billion connections. Now we are not just going to look at 7 billion, but we want to connect 1 trillion connections. We really want to have the 1 trillion connections. And 1 trillion devices on top of the people. Even when we are sleeping, everything is connected at real time. So that's something which we want to achieve. Well, those objects or things are connected each other, and objects are connected to people, and that will generate data. If there's no chip, no data. No chip, no data. Whenever the data is generated, there should be a chip. And 90% possibilities, ARM's chip is installed or implemented. And that data is coming to connect to the ARM's big data cloud. It's on automatic, using AI to really analyze the data, and we can even train more. So that's the concept which we are all endeavoring. Singularity is for sure it's coming. I believe singularity is really coming. Maybe in 3 decades, I am sure that we will have singularities. Well, 200,000 years have passed since human beings were born. So over this 200,000 years history, maybe it's a 3 decade or 5 decades, maybe it's an era. It's a tolerance. Anyway, it's coming. Singularity is coming. Human beings are not winning over the computer on Go game. Not just Go or Shogi games, but all the inference, all the reasoning, all the memories, all the predictions, all the wisdom. Anything which human beings can consider will be, of course, imagined or considered by computers, and that for sure is coming. There's no doubt about that. And that's something which I believe in. I don't know if this is good or bad. Yeah, I think still some room to discuss. But regardless if we hope for it or not, it's coming. If it's coming, then I think we want to drive in a good way or better way. That's what SoftBank believes. In the past, this artificial intelligence, this ultra or super intelligence, well, maybe the static smartphones or static PC, have those super intelligence. We now invited another great company underneath of SoftBank, which is Boston Dynamics. We will hear a lot more details about Boston Dynamics later, but all the industries will be redefined. Well, I think the information revolution was like newspaper becomes the radio, or television is going to be internet. But those conventional information industry is replaced by computer. That's been the norm. But from now onward, it's not just trying to use ad for the business, but maybe in the healthcare, or maybe transportation, or maybe the agriculture. So all the industries will be redefined, and that is coming.
That era is already here. That is zero accidents, social infrastructure with automobiles or transportation methods with zero accidents, or an era where people can leisurely and very casually exceed an average age of 100 years. And I think within our 300-year vision that we can exceed maybe an average longevity of 200, but at least the longevity of an average longevity of 100 years of age is already upon us. And the age when we can predict the future, where smart robots are different from smart robots. Just like the difference between smartphones and cellular phones, the difference between robots or assembly robots and smart robots are totally different. That is, the assembly robots which are working in our factories do not have intelligence. They are not equipped with AI. They are not smarter than us. They are robots to do simple manual work. And when people talked about, a world of robots, human beings like robots, we're making fun of these robots because we think that robots can only do manual labor and programmed work. And that's why we call people who move like robots, people who look like robots or move like robots. But with AI, these robots can now become smart robots. Smart robots will engage not only in simple manual work because they will learn, they will gain intelligence and become more smooth, more intelligent, and more caring because they'll be able to read human emotions. And they can act on their own initiative. And that era of smart robots will come, I'm sure. SoftBank wants to become the gentry of this new era. During the Industrial Revolution age, the gentry invested their risk capital, risk money. SoftBank wants to understand technology and invest risk money. Actually, SoftBank for the past 20 or 30 years have been investing a lot of risk money, and our accumulated record in the past 18 years is that the total funds we invested as risk money has exceeded a little more than 1 trillion yen, and now that's generated close to 20 trillion yen's worth of return. Every year, we are getting a compound annual growth rate of 44% in enhanced value. And so I don't think there is any other company in the world that could generate this kind of multiplier effect and this kind of return. So you may think, well, you were lucky because you hit upon Alibaba. That's true. We invested in Alibaba, and for me, that was a very, very lucky. And I'm really, really grateful to Jack Ma. But if you exclude Alibaba, how would the number of 44% change? Actually, it will only reduce down to 42%. Even if you exclude Alibaba, SoftBank's IRR, that is internal rate of return, is 42%. So what if we exclude the top 2 companies? It's still 43%. If you exclude top 3, 41%. Excluding top 4, top 5, it's still 41% of return. Internal rate of return is 41%, which means that it was not just one lucky hit. If you continue with a series of lucky hits, perhaps it's your capability. Maybe I'm smart after all. I'm beginning to think that way. So it was not just a lucky one-time, gold mine that I hit just out of luck. So Alibaba was the investment that led to the largest return, but we acquired Vodafone Japan, and we named it SoftBank and Yahoo Japan, and Sprint also was actually in return, because you think that the SoftBank invested in Sprint and now it's all red ink and the SoftBank is suffering. And I have a feeling you're concerned about this, the return of and super Cell also an IRR of 97% compound rate. This means that we did not hit just one hit at one time at bat. We intentionally, premeditatedly, took the batter box several times. We planned for it, and of course we missed several times, but our hits more than accounted for, offset for those missed hits. So now we want to further expand on this, and we have set up a SoftBank Vision Fund of 10 trillion yen. We are offering this capital of 10 trillion yen in the fund. 10 trillion yen, I'm not sure you may know about this, but when you look at the global venture capital, all venture capitals of the world, their fund put together was 7 trillion yen. Their total funding or financing was 7 trillion yen. But SoftBank Vision Fund is just one company, just SoftBank alone exceeds all of the gentries of the world. 10 trillion yen is quite a sum. The AIIB is often talked about recently, but we, SoftBank, just one company, was able to achieve the level of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. So SoftBank, as a gentry, can be likened to the privileged class who were given privileges and land from the royalty. And this time, from a true royalty, from a true crown prince or deputy crown prince, we were able to obtain cooperation in our fund and became the gentry of the new era. We volunteered to become the new gentry of this new era. And I think we are enjoying a tailwind, very strong tailwind. Just 10 years ago, information-related companies, there's only one information-related company in the top 10 of market capital in 2007. This is Microsoft. But in 2017, there are 7 information-related companies in the top 10. And of the 7 companies out of the top 10, Alibaba, which is our group, is number 7 in terms of market cap. Now, in 20 or 30 years, how many SoftBank color companies will make it into the top 10? I don't know, but I think several will probably make it into the list. And when you add them all together, then SoftBank, I think, would have proven itself to have become the new gentry of the new era to support and back them up. Of course, SoftBank was not able to do this alone, so we gained some strong partners: Saudi Arabia, the royalty, Abu Dhabi, Qualcomm, Foxconn, Apple, Sharp. They were like-minded entrepreneurs who decided to identify with me. And SoftBank, of course, has put in 30 trillion yen's worth of our own funds. So SoftBank is aiming not only at just one technology, one business model, or one brand to drive the world. No. We want to form a coalition of like-minded people, of comrades, entrepreneurs, like-minded entrepreneurs. We want to form a group, everyone to work together to create a revolution. A revolution can never be realized with the power of just one person. It's the powerless citizens, the man on the street, who get together and mobilize all the forces together to challenge the establishment and change the world. SoftBank alone does not have the power, but we can cooperate with like-minded entrepreneurs and provide technology and capital and pool the capital together. And with these like-minded entrepreneurs and comrades, we'll be able, I'm sure, to generate a revolution.
As I said in the beginning, a lot of gentries in the past acted nobly, not just for their fame or profit. They are ready to take the risk. They worked for the hope of people, for the happiness of people. They dedicated their lives. Later on, these people were referred to as gentlemen. So the name gentleman comes from gentry. So we have to return back to their concept. We have new technologies in front of us. Without being afraid of risks, we are ready to make the investment into new technologies so that we can better understand the vision of technologies. Then combining the asset or investment and the cutting-edge technologies will be able to pave the way for a new era, new world. If you're working only for the fame or money, it's very empty. What we are doing is to contribute to the happiness of all the people on this planet, every living thing on this planet, and the future generation, our children, our grandchildren, the people 10,000 years from today. We want to do everything we can Now, AI or information revolution is there to make everyone happier. And this is my belief. If all of us can join force together, if we can be the gentry of this new generation, if we can run the risk for the better world, certainly a world in the future will be a better place to live. Thank you.